I'm excited about this guy. This guy is, just, a wealth of knowledge with us. Really wants to help us grow and be able to help others as well. So I want you guys to help me bring up David. You, right?
That's right.
David, yeah.
I could feel the afterglow of the National Convention. This training was done by design. I tried to scoop that up while y'all still had it. Try to leverage that. So as he sets this up, let me go ahead and thank Nick again and of course Mom and all the leaders here in this office for allowing me to come back in again and work with you guys. I see some new faces, some I met during convention, some new ones I haven't met before, so I look forward to working with all of you and introducing you to a product that I think could make a big difference, not just in your own business, but in your clients' lives, of course, right? So as it starts picking things up, let me quickly ask, how many of you, and I expect some familiar hands to obviously go up, how familiar are you with the Everest package? Who's familiar with that? Okay, good, about half the room. For those that aren't familiar with the Everest package, have you heard of something called a final expense? Yes. Late night infomercial commercials, right? So what Everest really is the answer to all that's going on out there. We actually don't own any of the funeral homes. We're not part of the industry, but we think we have a product that is disrupting the industry. So much so they're worried. But we really believe we put your clients in a much better position. I'm excited to tell you about that. But as much as value this is going to bring to your client's family when they lose a loved one, I'll share some stories with you. But I think it can make all the difference to your business. The points, the commission, and what it can do for a lot of young agents that come and join the company, right? So I'm very excited to go over this with you. Here, I guess the wait on me. Okay. So my name is David Yu. I am the SoCal rep for Everest, which takes me from Bakersfield, Robert Potty's office, all the way down to Chula Vista, aka about as south as I go to next week. aka the Reef.
Yep.
All right, this is so let me turn that around, guys, real quick. And then we're off and running. All right, boom, bam. All right. All right, that's Everest. So again, my name is David. My cell phone number is 714-310-9573, 714-310-9573, and I'll share that information with you at the end of the presentation as well, and I'll stick around and answer any questions you might have. I want to keep this a little interactive today. I know we've got some veterans here that know Everest pretty well. I know some people that are like, Everest, what is that kind of mountain? So what I want to do is keep it kind of open. So I'm going to go over maybe with the Everest packages very briefly, do a little Q&A with you guys. I've got some leftovers from National Convention I brought with me. If you weren't at the National Convention, I brought it to y'all. Yeah. So I'm going to give some stuff away, and what I love to do then is maybe tear down some of these walls that's maybe sitting between you and Everest is. I know you've heard others be successful with you. Matt sells one every week, it seems, right? You guys, there's some of my friends here that know Everest very well. And you may think, well, what do I need to do to get to that point? What's going to be very, very simple, and I want to show you take the first step today. Okay, guys? Very good. Okay, so what is the Everest package? Well, we've got 25 million members plus between Canada and the US. What we are is a final expense product that's kind of coupled with all these different services that really is key to making sure that your families transition when they lose a loved one. So what do we bring them? Well, we got $5,000 to $35,000 worth of whole life insurance that we can pay out as quickly as 2 days. I guess some of those things kind of cut off with quick pay. But it comes with 24/7 concierge. We've got someone with 10 years plus worth of funeral experience that's going to hold your family's hand and do 3 things for you guys, right? They're going to arrange the entire funeral. We'll go over what that looks like. They will also negotiate everything down from retail to wholesale prices. We'll quickly go over what that looks like. And lastly, they have the ability to sign off on what they call quick pay. That's very important because everything else you're selling your clients right now requires a death certificate. Right? And a death certificate requires how they die. Why am I saying this? Well, we got a client right now who we suspect may have been murdered. And the only way that death certificate is created is if the trial is done. And until the trial is done, we're not sure if it was an accident, was it a suicide, was it a murder? We're looking at maybe 2.5 years out before the IUL annuities pay up. Good thing they had interest. $35,000 right away to take care of their funeral and make sure the family's able to transition. Is Does that make sense to you guys? But I wish when someone passed away, that's all you needed. I wish when someone passes away, all you needed was just money to make yourself whole, but it doesn't, does it? Who's lost a loved one here before? Okay, so I lost a loved one in 2014. A lot of my friends here know. Lost my father in 2014, and I was that guy that had to kind of run through everything, make sure everything got done. And it sucked. It sucked, right? So what Everest really is yes, we need the money, but there's so much more my father, I wish he would have left us. For example, he never put a will together. 70% of people in this country don't even have a basic will, you guys. You can leave them a lot of money, but once that goes into probate and all the hands are out, good luck with what's left at the other end of that. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes. We give your clients what we call will prep, $1,000 worth of legal documents, and we're not talking about a folder with a bunch of legal documents you got to pull out and kind of input, because that's stuff available for free. You can Google right now and say will California, estate planning California. You can find those applications for free on Google right now. But that's not what this is. We want to add value to what we give your clients. What this is a powerful artificial intelligence that you're going to basically answer simple questions, and a legal document gets written down your eyes. Whether it's a will, estate plan, power of attorney, medical directive. Medical directive is one that's close to my heart because my uncle-in-law passed away last year when he couldn't make a decision for himself because he was in a coma for 2 weeks. The family was frantically deciding what to do. Well, he died and they ran out of money before they could decide what to do. They pulled the plug when they ran out of money. That family started infighting, and I think I told you guys we had a birthday party for my older daughter a few months after that, and no one showed up for one person. Only one person showed up to that birthday party, and I can tell you right now, they're still fighting today. They're still fighting today. My wife's birthday is coming up. We're looking to invite the family to barbecue over my house. We're not sure how many members of that family is actually going to show up. I decided, when I joined Everest, it took me literally 30 minutes to put a will, power of attorney, medical directive, and estate plan together. It took me 30 minutes to do it on the computer, and I know I just saved my family a lifetime worth of misery. Does that make sense to you guys? As a father and as a man, it was something very simple that I did that I know it's going to put a lot of value to my family once I'm gone. Okay? Along with that, you know what else we run into a lot? Tenzing may be my favorite product, guys. Well, I often get calls every week, and I hear this. You know, we lost a client, he has Everest. We also know he has an IUL and annuities, we just can't find where it is. People die every week and they're not sure where the paperwork is because everything's not on paper, right? You receive the receipt for the policy you received, you put it in your closet, your garage, or maybe in boxes, and 20, 30 years go by, where is it? Sometimes you forget the bank draft's going that you're actually paying premiums on. You forget to tell your kids about it. Does that make sense, you guys? When my father passed away, my mom spent almost 2-3 months looking for every piece of legal and financial document that was needed for her to continue. And that meant looking through the entire house, boxes after boxes, stuff after stuff. And I told you guys, my dad was a pack rat. I think most immigrants are. We didn't have a lot growing up, so we want to keep things we had. Does that make sense, you guys? In fact, if you know any Asians, your friends or family, I bet you there's no car in that garage. There's never been a car in that garage. Just boxes and boxes of stuff. Right? So you can imagine, my mom spent 2-3 months looking for everything, and we're still finding things like poetry books. In fact, we're about to publish my dad's second poetry book posthumously. He's got enough poetry written to probably put another 2-3 books together. My sister and I call him the Tupac of Korean rap. You guys know what I'm talking about. What's one out of like, who's Tupac and where's he from? Is that Wakanda? What's he from? So that's why I love Tenzing, you guys. In my Tenzing is not only my life insurance, and my birth certificate, my kid's birth certificate, everything that's important, mortgage statement, car statements, everything. When I register my kids for school, I take my phone. I register my car, I take my phone. When I refinance my house, I take my phone. When I'm at the airport between, let's say, convention flights, I'm working on my script that I'll become a multi-millionaire on, in Tenzing. Videos, pictures, literally everything that describes who makes up who you are can be found in Tenzing. So, this is how the system works. When I pass away, my family does 2 things. They call them to implement the plan that I've already arranged, get the money in 2 days, open up Tenzing, my life is there. That's it. Calling people, learning what you're making. You know, I had to do all that. Remember people flying in and out of the house, and flying in and out of the country, flying out of the state, right? In and out of the city. Make sure there's enough places for them to lay their head and sleep for a couple nights. I wish it was a one-day funeral. It lasted, stretched out to about 3-4 days. It was like an Indian wedding almost. It was crazy. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about too, right? Good. So that is what Everest is. I'm going to go over with a little detail. Let's know what it's not. It's really important that you know what we're not. We are essentially the Uber of the funeral industry. Uber doesn't own those cars, right? They don't own those cars. You know, they don't own those cars. They don't own those. They don't own the people. In fact, they're all independent contractors, right, guys? But what Uber did is they disrupted the entire taxi industry. Taxi could charge you $50 from the airport to the strip in Vegas. They did that back in the day. They can't anymore. There's competitors out there, right? That's not based on some artificial rate. Well, you know what? That's what we did to the funeral industry. We took the covers off of it. There's no national chain. There's no point of reference. There's no. I can tell you right now that we found that for the exact same service at 2 different funeral homes on the same street, there's a 300% variance in the price. Think about that. And most people, because 4 out of 5 people will do business in the very first funeral home you walk into, you're not going to care. You're going to walk in there, sign wherever they tell you to sign, and walk out thinking that's what everyone does. I did that. I can tell you I did that because it felt like when I was sitting in the that's Freudian slip. When I was sitting in that funeral home, it was almost like sitting in a confessional booth of a Catholic church. Like if I spent enough money and just spilled my guts enough to this guy who really didn't care about anything I had to say, yes sir, yes he didn't care, right? Everything I had to say, like if I did enough of that, like if I walked out, I'd be cathartic and I'd have some kind of salvation from this misery of my father's death. None of that occurred, guys. The only answer to that is actually love and kiss the family members you have that's alive today, right guys? Make sure you go home and love your family, love your kids, man. But that's not what we are. We're not part of the industry. We don't own the funeral homes. We're not part of the network. In fact, maybe the most important line is 100% of our revenue at Everest is from the premium your clients pay. That's it. We don't get kickbacks. We don't get commissions. Does that make sense, you guys? We can't have them wondering why we're sending them to certain places to do business because we know that they're in a certain frame of mind and they have to trust us completely. And that's why we don't receive any commissions or anything from anyone. Okay? Very good. Will do,
Hi, my name's Will, and I'm dead. I know it's sad, but hey, a lot of awesome people are dead. It happens, I'm fine. And while my family is a bit upset, they're not stressed. Because when I was among the land of the living, I made the incredibly smart move of signing up for Everest. If I hadn't, my family would have had to go all over town researching funeral homes and services. Dealing with high-pressure salespeople who just want to upsell. And having to choose from a bunch of options you might not even need.
It's a documentary.
All while dealing with the loss of someone very special. Me. That's why I chose Everest. It's a funeral concierge rolled into a life insurance plan. All you have to do is talk to one person, your Everest advisor. They ask you a few questions, learn exactly what you want and don't want, then negotiate directly with funeral homes, so you know that your family isn't getting taken advantage of. This can save you thousands of bucks. Even so, funerals aren't cheap. It can take weeks to get your life insurance payment, and funeral homes want your money now. But if you have a plan with Everest, you can get your money immediately, like as little as 2 days. That way you'll have everything you need in time. Back when I was still alive, I didn't think much about my death. It was my style. But I did want my family to be taken care of, and Everest was there to do that.
Thank you, Will.
No problemo.
Wherever you are.
They can't hear me.
So this is a video we've been prominently putting out there. I think does a pretty good job of getting the message across. And it's time right now. I want to kind of highlight the 24/7 concierge. You mentioned that we he spoke a little Spanish there. It's because we do speak 170 languages, and we will do business in any country U.S. has a friendly relationship with. So Mexico, Spain, Philippines. We talk about the South Korea, yes, North Korea.
North Korea?
Depends on what Rodman and Trump can do, I think, right? So guys, take a look at this. Take a look at this. Look at all the decisions that need to be made. Now, I'm not talking about. Yeah, who said that? That's a lot. So yeah, there's a lot. And this is just general, and there's actually a lot more to this, especially if you talk about the military funeral, if you talk about specific religious funeral, if you talk about specific cultures. You can actually add more to this. Here's the good news. Each and every one of these things get taken care of by Everest. That's the good news. You don't walk out that door, you don't make a call, you don't do anything, right guys? You give Everest a call and they will take care of all this stuff for you based on what you want. In fact, here's a quick quote from an Everest WFG agent. This quote is based on a casket they were negotiating. Some of you guys know this story. The funeral home would not budge on the cost of the casket, so the funeral director at Everest started looking online, and guess where they found it? For $3,000 less. Costco.com. Yeah, they got them over there. We shipped over to that funeral home. Of course, they were none too pleased, but we don't care. We want to make sure your clients have the best service and the best price for what they get. Does that make sense, you guys? In fact, you guys travel quite a bit when you're part of WFG, don't you?
Yep.
In fact, I think you guys are all running towards going to Italy.
Yes.
Not to mention Hawaii end of the year. My goodness, we never have time to work, right guys? Because that's the point, right? Do a lot of work now so you don't have to work too much when you get older. So the reason I bring this up is because the famous story for Everest is we had an agent die at the annual Hawaiian trip a few years ago. You guys know that.
Yep.
He died out there. He came in from Canada a day early to learn how to scuba dive. He went out paddling. His wife was cheering him on, right? He died out there, and they called Everest because they had him. We jumped into action. We actually produced a meeting on the beach that week. All the family members and the, not family members, but all the agents, the family members that were there came pay the respect. When you die, you don't buy a plane ticket. You're a biohazard. We did $5,000 worth of paperwork for free. Shipped the body from Hawaii, USA to Ontario, Toronto, Canada. And we did a funeral there. $24,000 original price tag. We did it for under $12,000. I can even say it was $12,000. That's typically how they use us, guys. Usually, even though we tell them you can, like for example, if you got an Everest package today, you can arrange a funeral tomorrow.
Yep.
But it's not something people are like, oh, really, can I do that? I'm so happy to do that. I can't wait to do that. That's not usually what occurs. Like if you arrange that, you're jinxing yourself, right? But I gotta tell you, we have clients that do that sometimes, right? You guys know a story about that CIF basketball player, right, guys? You guys, who knows what CIF is in California?
Yeah.
The governing body that governs all the athletics, right? So there was a 62-year-old gentleman back in the day during his prime. He made the winning shot to win the basketball championship with 1.2 seconds left. So for his funeral, he arranged his casket and rolled into a school gym at 1:02 p.m. On the home side, all his family and friends. On the away side, food and drinks. He picked up the colors, the hymn, the Bible verse. 3 people for redundancy. He did all this. We're like, holy crap, sir, this is amazing. Why did you do all this? And we won't ever forget the answer he gave us, right, guys? He said, I've always been afraid of death. That's why I eat well. I'm a vegan. I always work out. I'm healthier than you are, David, right? But the more I think about it, is he vegan? The more I think about it, it's not death that I'm afraid of, it's the unknown. It's what I don't know. He said, now that I've arranged this funeral with Everest, I know exactly what's going to happen when I die. It's going to be one hell of a party. I wish I was there. It's that peace of mind, y'all. That's what Everest is. Making sure that everything's taken care of. If anything happens to me, my family is sound. Does that make sense, you guys? That's what this is. Okay. Along with that, we talked about will prep. Look at this. When you log on to everestfuneral.com as a client, you have all the options on that web page. The will prep's going to be on there. Tenzing's going to be on there. The concierge. Everything's on off a single website. When you click on will prep, it'll open this up, and you can actually pick the state, let's say state of California, and the many legal documents that you can actually create will show up on the drop-down box, and you'll pick whatever you want, whether it's a will, estate planning. You print that out once it's done, you go get notarized for $25, it will stand up in court. Does that make sense, guys? Stand up. We've done over 20,000 funerals, Everest. We've been on 5 years. We've done over 20,000 funerals already. A large share of those from California, and our legal documents absolutely stands up in court. Much like net law, it is a artificial intelligence-driven software. You answer basic questions, the document gets created right in front of your eyes. We had an agent, 52 years old, that told us at 25 he got his very first will because he bought his first house. When he got some kids, he got another will. When he bought another home, he got another will. When he got married again, he got another will. He got about 7 wills between 25 and 52, about 7 wills, and it cost him about $1,500 to $2,000 each and every time. Wow. You didn't have to do that. With will prep, you can change it all the time. And you know my story, how I use this. I got 2 daughters, right, guys? You guys know that. I don't spank them, right? You know what I do when they act up? What I do when I act up? Take them off the will. That's right. Take them off the will. Don't do that. Don't judge. Don't do that. It says child abuse, man. All child abuse. Okay, very good. So will prep is very powerful. In fact, you'll find some people actually kind of cater to their whole pitch to will prep, depending on who your clients are. If you've got clients that've got a lot of assets, and they've got, let's say, they've got fluidity, they've got cash in the savings, they've got some 401k, they've got all these things, and where life insurance may not be the angle, we give you enough tools to find that angle. Does that make sense, you guys? If it's not a will, it's a Tenzing. The Tenzing store, well, I'll tell you that in a second. Let's talk about Tenzing. So here's what it looks like when you open this up, right? When you open this up, you got all the configured folders up here. You can create more, like your health membership. I got one for my short story, I got one for my pictures, I got one for both of my daughters, one each. I've seen EBCs with 30 tabs opened up for each of his office and each of their little, you know those bubble things y'all do? What's that thing called?
The hierarchy chart.
Yeah, that crazy bubble things that you guys do. They had them in there. I couldn't tell what they were. They had them in there, right? So that all this stuff, they were actually managing the entire business because that ABC, because he got it so young, was only paying about $35 a month for this. That's a lot cheaper than any web services you can get unlimited memory. Does that make sense, you guys? Why I love this is because I had mentioned my father passed away in 2014. He was that typical loving Asian father. Right? Left us a little bit of cash, left a little bit of house, nothing else, no will, right? No instructions. Like when I die, my kids will take care of me the way I took care of my dad. It's been going on for thousands of years. It don't work like that no more, Pops. Right? We don't live on a farm where there's 20 kids. This is me. I don't got 30 brothers and sisters to help you out like you did, right? This is me, right? It's different. The life is changing. Life is changing. Tenzin, you can actually get it on your phone. Boom, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Can we do it again? Every photo you create, you'll find on here. So one for pictures, membership documents, movies, videos, you name it.
Awesome.
Again, you guys, you're creating your archive. You get to dictate what people say about you. Don't let TMZ do it. You can do it. Whatever you want to put it there. Put it this way. After your last update, it's good for 10 years. So let's say last update, I die, whatever reason, my family will have 10 years to kind of go back and forth with it. And after that, it's archived forever, so you never lose any of the information.
Wait,
It's archived forever.
after 10 years it's archived?
Forever.
Then you can't edit it after
You
that?
can't edit nothing, but it's like a snapshot almost of what was in there.
No, you could have forgotten it for 10 years. Never mind, 7 point. All right.
Yeah. But
That's
your,
awesome. That's
but your
awesome.
great-great-grandkid can check out how cool Grandpa
Yeah,
was. That was back in
I hope.
2018. Yeah.
I'm still in the mantle.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how most establishments or businesses require that you have like a birth certificate or marriage certificate, but they want the original? Having it in an electronic form, is that ever been a problem?
Not for me because of the things I've done, but you're right. If I want to go get a passport,
Like
if I want to get something like that, I would have to bring the originals with me. But for most business that I do every day, this is more than enough. Like school registration, both my kids are pre-K, so we know the administrators, hey, you have those in church, it's that. So we had the ID that was good enough, and I could actually print it from there as well, right? Which is kind of cool. But if you're talking about the actual hard copy, the death certificate, yeah, that won't work for this. That won't work for this, right, guys? Okay, very good.
Oh, videos too? What about, is that
Yeah.
fixed now? Or that they did that?
Yes, yes. Videos, yes. Up
Okay.
to 1 gigabyte each, but unlimited how many you can put in. So you can have a
Oh.
billion 1 gigabyte videos in there. So all the Vine videos you guys create, I know the Vine videos you guys create, you put a million, you put a million in there. All the Fortnite I have. I'm trying to talk the language, man. I'm struggling. So along with Tenzin, which I love, we got Will Prep as well. Will Prep is like Yelp. I travel quite a bit for work, but no matter where I am, no matter how warm it is, I can always get down a big bowl of pho. I'm not even Vietnamese, man. I can't though. It doesn't matter where I am. I love Yelp, no matter where I am in the country, right? PHO, boom, there it is.
Yep.
There's one in every city.
Yep.
There's one in every city. There's one in every city. That's what this is, guys. You throw in a zip code, you throw in a mile radius, and all the funeral homes in the area comes up along with their real-time prices. Hey, man.
I'll actually add to that.
Yeah.
The Everest app I just wrote on Friday, the client I was sitting down with, she's like, well, how much does a funeral cost where I live?
Yeah.
Well, good thing I own this. I logged into my account,
Excellent.
showed her all the funeral homes within five miles.
Yeah.
It shows a funeral home charging for all the same services
That's right.
anywhere from 7 to 15 grand.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the well, especially thanks to Tina,
That's what closed the app.
That's what it looks like when someone steals your thunder. That's literally what it looks like when someone steals that's what, if everyone
Sorry,
look at
David.
what stealing thunder looks like, that's what you don't know what it feels like. Okay. So you actually have 8 funeral homes here, Matt, thank you. And you have $4,000 here, $12,000 here, $9,800 here, $18,000 here, again, all for the exact same service. Thank you, man. All for the exact same service, right? And again, 4 out of 5 people walk in there, you're gonna do business there, you're gonna write off whatever they do. When you walk into a funeral home, they have one thing to sell you, only one, because they own nothing. They don't own the caskets, they don't own the flowers, they don't own any of that stuff. They don't own the land. Rose Hill, Forest Hill owns the land, they own nothing. What they will sell you is what they call pre-need funeral account, which is a life insurance policy. They're gonna sell you a life insurance policy, and guess who the beneficiaries are of that?
Funeral home.
So if you buy one here, let's say in Norco, and you die in Bobo, Mississippi, they're not bringing it to you. I think you ever go to Bobo. They don't bring it to you. But here's the thing though, ma'am. What's your name? Lupe. Hi, Lupe. Why not Lupe? So if I say, if you had a $15,000 policy with them, and let's say the funeral costs 12 grand, where does that $3,000 go? Where's it go? But let's say, but they control the invoice. They control the invoice, right? They control the invoice. So instead of doing that, if the funeral costs $15,000, or if you have $15,000 policy with them, guess what the invoice is going to reflect?
15,000. 18,000.
Well, actually, I'm gonna get a glass cleaner, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
You gotta be able to clearly to do business, right? So you're absolutely right. If you have a $15,000 policy, they'll invoice you $15,000 and tell you a story about how they barely got in there.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I barely got in there.
You can imagine that.
Right, right. But if you had a $12,000 policy, the exact same funeral, and they'll come back and say, "We barely got in there, Lupe. We barely did it. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how we did it, Lupe." It's a miracle. Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay.
So, is any questions about the product? Any questions about will prep? Any questions about Tenzing? Any questions about 24/7 concierge? Guys, I work with those concierge every week, and to be a little serious here, we've had probably about 6, 7 death claims this past month for agents.
Damn.
You know, we love own and share, but when it's time to pay up, I hear about every one of them. So I've got EBCs calling, "Hey, can you check into this one about this one?" Right? In their hierarchy, they treat. You guys know WFG treat their own like family, right, guys?
That's right.
Like family. So we had a 24-year-old kid. I can call him 44. 24-year-old kid went to Carson for training, and he bought one that day from his upline crew. "Hey, you got to buy from upline." "I don't want it. Bought one." 2 months goes by. He's riding a motorcycle. About $35,000. He was in contestability period, but the family just got their money last week. Just got their money last week. $35,000 policy, having the policy for 2 months, right? But it was kind of tricky because they would look, "Hey, I thought it was a 48-hour payout. There's a contestability period. We had to go back and forth, but we pushed him, we got it for him." Philip Boyle called us and John Wu called it. You guys know who they are.
Yep.
Just make sure checking in on us, right? But it happens every week. Every week there is one. So the reason why I bring this up is because unlike a lot of products where it's kind of a cash out payout and you really don't hear about that, because there's actually a concierge portion to what we do. They will reach out to you the way I get reached out to because they need something a little bit more. They understand Everest is a little bit more than just money. They understand it's a little bit more than just making sure you got cash in your hand. Does that make sense? So when you sell Everest, you can expect that as well, because as the person that sold it to them, your clients may feel a certain level of connection with you and may want to contact you about these things that they do. You refer back to me or refer back to the agents at or the Everest concierge people, and they'll help them out. But just give me a little heads up. I guess because it's so fresh in my mind, I'm going through like 6, 7 of them right now this past month. Okay, guys, really quick. Any questions about the product itself, the features? We're gonna go over the insurance in a little bit, about the features itself, about the concierge, about everything else. By the way, everything that you saw there comes with your premium. So if you're a guy this young, your premium could be $14 a month for Everest package. He gets all that as if you were an 85-year-old man paying $300 a month. Does that make sense, you guys? All that comes the same way. You don't get a smaller trunk because you buy the lesser.
Oh, I have a question. David. What so once it's paid, like let's say once you put in enough money.
How's it work, by the way?
Amazing.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, good, good.
I needed it. I really did.
Good.
But you hit it right on the head. So what happens once you're like 20, let's say 25, right?
Yeah.
And you pay it for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
How long do you? I mean, what if I put
You
in
pay for it until you die, or you turn 100 years old, and you're right. There is that baked into the cake of whole life insurance where you could pay more than you get back. So, you know, this is probably for another training. I'd love to come back and do another luncheon with you guys, how to handle objections and rebuttals. But how you handle this is, there's two ways of handling that. There's 2 ways of handling that question. The biggest pushback you get in any whole life product, Everest is the only whole life product you have at your disposal. You guys know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All your providers have whole life product. The reason why they love whole life is because the premium never changes,
Right.
and the payout's guaranteed.
Right.
Term insurance, 98% doesn't pay out. Do you guys know that?
Yep.
98% term does not pay out. Whole life does. That's why term's so inexpensive. It's very cheap, right? And because it pay, how do I say this?
Because when I called, they told me that there's a percentage that's made on the money too. So they're saying over time, when it's gone past that period,
Oh my
it's almost
God.
like you have your money.
I should about the advanced course.
It's free insurance, right? And then it basically you get your money. So when the person dies, your family gets it all back.
Let me tell you what that means.
Right.
Okay, so there is a cash value
Yeah.
to the policy. There is, okay? So here's how this works. This is again what it looks like when thunder is taken from you.
Yeah.
We're gonna go application in a second here. But let me do this. We'll go over the application in a second,
cool.
but let me just quickly address I would pay more into it than I get back question, and I'm glad you asked that because
Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
that affects young people more than older people, right? If
Yeah.
I'm 22 years old and you're like, I can pay on that time, $100? Man, that seems like a real long time, don't it? It does. So here's what I would say. Here's what I would say.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, right? Because you're only like, what, 19? So here's what I would do. I would just in two ways. Number one, if you position the product correctly, you'll get less of that. Number one. So first of all, you start off, you gotta make sure you position it correctly. Meaning, don't conflate Everest final expense product with life insurance.
Right.
If you conflate it with life insurance, you're gonna look at it with life insurance glasses and look for all the little bells and whistles a life insurance IUL should offer, and it won't. It won't. But if you conflate it, if you associate it with, let's say, a warranty plan, like I've had car insurance my whole life. I've never got a major car accident. If I hit someone and Mercury pays 10 grand, I'm not going back to Mercury's headquarters and saying, where's where I'm missing my money, man? I only paid 10 grand and I paid at least 120,000 into this. Like, where is my other money? I'm not ever gonna say that. Homeowners insurance, right? My garage burns down, they pay $50,000 for building my garage. I'm not going back and saying, where's the rest of my money? Where's the rest of my money, State Farmer? Where's the rest of my money? I'm not doing that. Why? Why? It's the same money. Why are we doing that? Because we're conflating the wrong things.
Yeah.
When you look at insurance, because especially the way we sell our insurance here at WFG, let's talk about, can we be real honest here, fam? When we sell IULs, we talk about the living benefits and the index and how they can get richer from that potentially. Do we talk about these things?
Yeah.
So when you sell them an Everest package, they may want to look at it the same way. You got to say this to the client. Say, Mr. Client, we've got our platforms full of 260 product providers. If you want to gain wealth, I've got products for that. Let's talk about securities. Let's talk about annuities. Let's talk about FFIU wealth. That's not what this is. We also got products here to save you money. We also got products here like put your kids to school. You're never going to get money back from that. I mean, unless they get a really good job and they retire you, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's products for everything on my platform. What this is, it's really like a warranty, like car insurance.
good.
And make sure that it's there for when you need it.
It's like a service.
It's like a service.
Yeah.
It's a subscription.
Yeah.
Does that make sense,
That's
you guys?
fine. That's
Let me
good.
put it this way.
That's
There's a study done that says when someone loses their job, what goes first? Amazon Prime or life insurance? Guess what goes first?
Life insurance.
Always goes first. If our value system was I just dumped a bunch of prizes, but she's right about that. She's right about that. It's life insurance because what I don't see, I don't care. Does that make sense, you guys?
Totally true.
When you buy life insurance, you put it in the drawer, you don't see it for years. It might not be on your conscious mind. But with Everest, I'm uploading things to Hinton every week. I'm doing will prep all the time. I'm talking to Concierge, setting my ultimate funeral. I'm doing will prep. Maybe I'm also on Price Finder. The way Matt used Price Finder, I use it for my relatives all the time. We had a funeral in Baltimore. Here's here. $30, don't mention it. I got you. Bam.
You gotta be my client first.
I can't sell it, I just send it to you. But does that make sense, you guys? So, the first step is don't conflate with life insurance. Make sure you sell it as a warranty, as a way to, almost like a subscription plan,
Yeah,
a
that's
way to
good.
make sure it's insured, that it's there for you, right?
That's good, yeah.
The second thing you do, and I love this, so we had an agent who had a 70-year-old client who had about $2,000 in the bank, and the client said, listen, if I pay this premium for the next 10, 20 years, I would pay way more into it than I get back. The 70-year-old client said that, and the agent said this, and I love this. The agent said, sir, I have to remind you that you're 70 years old and you've got $2,000 in the bank, which means your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you never had that financial wherewithal to make sure you save for this thing. This is too serious for us to mess around like this. Let's get this done. Got it.
That's good sense, being
Because
serious.
he's right, he's 7 years old, $2,000 in the bank, but all of a sudden, with less income opportunities, and when I was 25, I'm only gonna save $25,000, $30,000 for my funeral. That's never gonna happen. He just had to get a reality check real quick. But you know what, your clients, if you give them a good reality check, it works for them, they'll come back for more. They'll come back for more, as long as it works. I'm not going out and hiring a personal trainer to tell me what I wanna hear, echo what I already know. I need to go there and he's got things push me back, give me corrections, smack me in the head sometimes, but if it works, I can't wait to go back.
Yep.
Am I right about that?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Have anyone done martial arts in here before? So martial arts, boxing, athletics, maybe soccer coaches, football coaches.
Yep.
You may have done something a certain way your whole life, and he gives you a couple quick, Mike, what the heck? Man, that worked perfectly, right?
Totally.
That's what they wanted. If you can be that for your clients, you've got a client for life. Come back. Very good. So let's talk about the insurance itself now, you guys. We only have 2 products. Sorry to bore you. Our underwriting guidelines are so simple, it may just bore you, right? We have $5,000 to $35,000 with the whole life insurance product. We pay out either as immediate death benefit or ROP. Who knows what ROP means?
Return premium.
Return premium, very good. I'm another man with glasses. Got glass thing for you, sir. Very nice, very nice. I saw mine in. So, return of premium, right. So what does that mean? What that means is, We would love to approve everyone under immediate death benefit, which is the way we want it. If someone passes away, the money at face value goes out immediately, which is the way we want it. But from time to time, we will find somebody with some health risks that we will approve as well. We'll approve them as under ROP. So what does that mean? If you're under 65 years old, that ROP period is 3 years. 64 to 85, that ROP period is 2 years. If the client passes away within that time period, the family will only receive all the premium back plus 10% interest back. Your clients that receive a ROP approval will say this to you: thank God, I've been turned down everywhere else, I'll take it. And they'll say 10%, whoa, that's better than Bank of America. They'll say that, usually. Along with the easier purchase, no medical exam, no blood work, you guys.
That's right.
No blood work, right? We pay out today, that's right. We pay out in 48 hours because we don't require a death certificate. Our concierge that's working with your clients will sign off on a piece of paper. America will make sure the check's in their hands in about 48 hours. Tax-free proceeds, right? Tax-free proceeds as well. Very good. So let's look at the application itself, guys. Application, here it is. This is the application for people under over 50 years old. Couple things. Number one, we empower you to field underwrite this. When you answer all these questions, you'll know with about 95% certainty whether you have an Everest package or not. Those that have done Everest before know you can do the entire thing on your phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we pay every day, we underwrite every day. So if you were to do an Everest package on a Wednesday, Friday's the first pay period, 80% commission will be your paycheck on Tuesday. Well, let me go back to that. That's called a little tease, get you involved in this, I'll get back to that. I'm learning, man, I'm still learning how to do this. Here it goes. So, you got 10 questions here. The top 3 are what you call knockout questions. If I can say no, my client is not in a nursing facility, no, I'm not in home health care, I don't have a breathing machine, and I don't have cancer. Number 2, I don't have ALS, CHF, which is congenital heart failure, Alzheimer's. And no, I don't have AIDS or HIV. Congratulations, your client has an Everest package. They have an Everest package. The bottom 7 questions simply determine whether it's immediate death benefit or ROP. If I can say all no to the bottom 7, it's immediate death benefit. If I get a 1 yes or all yes in the bottom 7, it's ROP. You're done. Yes, sir.
Diabetes. Even
Well, it depends. Depends if it's childhood or not.
Okay.
No.
No.
If it's not, then fine. That'd be ROP. Well, so or even immediate death benefit.
What about dialysis? Is there
No,
anything
they don't.
else?
Yeah, they can't do dialysis. So dialysis, if any kind of machine been hooked up to you, keep you alive, no. So dialysis and breathing machines, and you can't have someone else's body part in you.
And what about your remission?
Remission's fine. Remission's fine, depending on how many years have gone by. You're ROP.
Okay.
Yeah, look at this. Look what it says up here.
Doesn't matter, you're good. If you got it before, then you're
What's this?
fine.
Currently.
Is there a time frame for
That's
remission?
like after you had this, doesn't matter. Ask
No,
them.
not usually, no. No.
Yeah, that's a physician, they check
But then
it.
there might be some other questions down here, because what is end up happening is they have some more, they have more actually specific questions like cell skin cancer. They'll ask you some additional questions, and when they pull the RX report, there's certain drugs that are opinion as well that can disqualify them as well.
Yeah.
Right? So he may not say yes or no fine questions here, but he may be taking a drug that addresses cancer. So here's what happens, guys. Once you're done answering these questions, there's only 2 other things they do. They'll pull a RX report, and they'll pull what they call MIB. So RX report is a prescription drug report. Anything your patient has been prescribed by the medical industry will show up on this report. Does that make sense, you guys? So they just want to make sure if someone says, I'm perfectly healthy, they've got like 10 different diabetes medicine, they're probably diabetic, right? Right? So just a hint, right? What's MIB? You guys know what MIB is?
Medical Information Bureau.
What is MIB? Sounds very official, almost like Men in Black, right? Almost like Men in Black, right? Well, what do they do? They're under, yeah. So in lieu, we don't have a national database for health information. Does that make sense, you guys? We don't have that yet. We may have it one day, we don't have that yet. But the insurance company has one. It's called the MIP. So what this is, they're tricky about that. So what they do is, anytime you've been underwritten by an insurance company or one of the participating insurance companies, just like everyone does participate in MIB, and they find anything is reported, they get reported to this agency. So next time you apply with another insurance company, they have that information there. So Transamerica, Pacific, Everest, anytime you get underwritten, that information is sent back to MIB, and that information is shared within its network of participating insurance companies. Makes sense? So it's not super accurate, they do use that. Does that make sense, you guys? So they'll pull those 2 things, as long as they're consistent with your answers, you're flying through, nothing to worry about. Okay, you guys? Okay. Here's the commission. Here's how this should work. Let's say, for example, a premium is $100. $100, right? $100. Do we have any trainee associate trainees in here? Brand new joinee? Very good. Associate trainee? Very good, okay. So let's say, for example, I was $100 premium. You take that and multiply that by 12, $1,200, okay, so 1,200 points. Multiply that because we are platinum, the only platinum provider for WFG here in Canada and the US, here in the US and Canada. You would take that $1,200 and multiply that by 1.088, so more than 100%. We're gonna give you more than 100%, okay? 1.088, that comes out to about $1,300, give or take. Stop right there. Those 1,300 points go up 6 generations. So you as a trainee, those points, and Helekahara will fill those. Some providers only go up 2 generations. So does that make sense? But the points go on. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys,
Yep.
veterans, we go up 6 generations. So how, hey, Mr. Lancaster, who's 6 generation above you? Or who's 3 generations?
I mean, you go to the top of the company, 3 people up.
It's for you?
Yeah, it's me, G, Ed,
So you know what? Ed Miley will
Rich.
feel what you do. How's that? You know, right?
Yeah.
Ed Miley, 6th generation, you will, Ed Miley sent you, what was that? It was you. It was you doing the Everest package. Was that Ed Miley? Okay, good. Very good, guys. So you take that, that's not, so those 1,300 points go up 6 generation, right? Now you take those same $1,300, multiply that by your contract, and that's your commission. You guys got that? That's why if you do 2 Everest packages a week, you make over $100,000 a year. So, and then 80% of that commission, whatever that number is, 80% of that gets paid out right away. So that means, again, if I do one on a Wednesday, today's a Tuesday, right? If I did one on a Wednesday tomorrow, Friday's the first pay period, that 80% of that contract amount will be in my paycheck Tuesday. And the rest gets paid out in the last 3 months of that earned year. So the day I close that policy is my January 1st for that earned year. Does that make sense? So that 20% will get paid out next year, May, June, July, give or take. Does that make sense, you guys? A lot of agents forget about that 20%, like, oh, what's this? Oh, that's right, Everest. You said Everest. Good. Any questions about the commission plan, about the application, the process? Yes, ma'am.
I know we did an Everest policy for somebody over 65 in California. If you're in their home, there's an extra form that Everest said.
We call this the Team Dominate. We will take your thunder.
I'm sorry.
That's next.
Oh.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You know you've been in this office a few times when
Yeah,
like,
go meeting after
David,
meeting.
stay focused. We'll cover this next. Thank you for that. Thank you. So any questions about what we just went over though? No? Good? Okay. That means you've done doing a really great job or a horrible job. Okay. You guys want to jump on this real quick? Oh, you know what? I don't cover that in here. You're right. So, you guys, wait here. Let me do this. You guys can jump on this. This will take you to. Actually, I can kind of type it. This will take you to the agent's website. If you went to, if you just stopped here, that's to
The client.
probably driving Nick crazy by touching this on, or Matt crazy, whoever's in charge of this.
You're good.
This. Okay, good.
You're good.
I'll leave a glass clean. How's that? So when you click
I already have one. You gave me one already.
That's right. When you click on this URL here, you guys, that'll take you to the consumer site. EverestFuneral.com is where you go when you're a member. You can access tending and all that good stuff. Simply put a /WFG-US, and it'll take you to the agent site. It'll take you to the agent site, and that's where everything's going to be, you guys. Everything will be there. So what I mean by that, right? When you click on that, the home site looks like this. Once you have your appointment with us, you can click on mobile e-app and do everything on your phone. First time you get your app, once you get your appointment with us, you can go in there and do a mobile e-app right away. And the appointment number with us is number 5 and your WFG code. And so today I'm going to show you how to get your appointment. Okay, guys, really quickly. It's so simple. If you're following along with your phone, you can actually get it done right now. Okay, guys? So here you go. So when you go on the website, when you go on this URL, everestfuneral.com /WFG-US, I want you to really focus on the bottom half of the webpage. The will videos here, all that good stuff's here, yes. But the bottom half is where all the good stuff is, right? So we're going to go over step 1, which is how to get an appointment with us, submit your application online. But before, I want to quickly highlight a couple more things here. So in the future, when you get a chance, click on Learn More for step 2 and everything that entails our service, including all the marketing material that's available to you to be sent to this office for free, by the way. All the marketing material you find in here that we can send to this office from Houston is free. You don't have to worry about the shipping, nothing. We pay for all that. Just let me know what you guys need. If you guys have, let's say, a small show you're doing. Let's say, for example, we have teams that work in the Chino Air Show. We had teams go out and work different senior citizen facilities. We had teams go out and work. In fact, one longshoreman put up a stand right where the dock was as longshoremen were walking in, talking about financial advice. right, guys? So if you need material, do that kind of stuff, reach out to me, or reach out to me, yes, but you can find all that stuff in here. Does that make sense, you guys? 3 is where all the insurance stuff is. The application is in here. The price list is in here. Everything that has to be actual insurance is under step 3. Let's talk about the appointment. When you click on Learn More, it's going to take you, this little window is going to pop up. When the window pops up, remember, memorize number 2240. 2240 is a universal password. That's a universal password. Every agent in WFG will use the exact same login ID. They'll use the exact same password. Okay, the login ID is 341. That's already in there when you go. Okay. So once you click on this, it'll open this window up. You'll click on the blue link, I-American Agent Agreement. Remember 2240. It'll take you to this web page here. When it takes you to this web page here, 341, you leave it alone. Everyone uses 341. Clock in 2240 for the password. 2240 for the password. It'll take you here, and you're in. At this point, guys, you just have to put in your WFG agent code, click on I-American, click on new contract, you're off to the races. Nothing to take in terms of a test, nothing to study, there's no trick questions. All we want is to know a little bit more about you. And within 48 hours or so, you'll receive an email with your appointment and you're ready to rock and roll. In fact, after you get your appointment, please reach out to me. I'd love to do a quick 15-20 minute one-on-one with you guys. Get you guys started on the right path, okay? Very good.
That, just so people don't get confused, that WFG agent number, that's where you put the 5, right? 5 and then your code.
No, you put your code in there. The 5 will be provided in the email you get back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They'll be like, you haven't got that 5 yet.
Not official yet.
Not officially yet. They'll give you that 5 in the email, right?
Yeah,
Very
very
good. And that's how you get appointed, guys. How easy was that? Pretty easy. Any questions about the appointment process? About the website? Very good. Real quickly, guys. That's the website, the agent website I just brought up. That number right there, the I-American, is the most important phone number up on that website. That phone number right there will take you to I-American in Houston, Texas. They open about a couple hours before us. They close around 2:45 our time. Keep that in mind. But when you call them, they want to work with you in terms of your contract, in terms of, in fact, I'm going to be calling them tomorrow about NICS, in terms of underwriting guidelines. We had a lot of agents call them, simply just took the opportunity to call them, and they've been able to take like turndowns and made them to approvals. I've seen RLPs become immediate death benefit simply because an agent took the opportunity to give them a call. In fact, when you call them, the first question they ask you, what's your agent code? So they know you call them. Transamerica, they're hiding from y'all. You're right. You're there. They call us. Work with us. Very good. Okay. That's to 24 hours advisors, you guys. So let's say, for example, you're sitting at home with a client at 11 o'clock at night and trying to show them how to use will prep. You're stuck. Give that number a call. Someone's available 24 hours a day to walk you through will prep, cleansing, all that. Think about that. You're sitting at home working on your will. You have a question about it. You give those guys a call. They help you through it 24 hours a day. A number that's not available 24 hours a day is my cell phone number. It seems like it, I know. Especially don't call me 2 o'clock with bail money, man. So that number's here. Like I said, call me anytime, you guys. I return calls as quickly as I can. Text is probably the best way, to be honest. Text is probably the best way. But emails, calls, whatever you guys need, that's my email address there as well. Before I go, I want to quickly do a couple more things. Let's ask this. What's the dollar amount we can get here at Everest? What's the dollar amount?
5 to 35.
Yes, sir. Very good, Thomas. Very good. I don't have any more of those. I think. Sorry about that. Actually, here with these two. Oh, very good. I don't have any questions left. What state is Everest located in?
Texas.
Yeah, Texas. Very nice.
All my exes are from
You'll never get that question right. That's called blind spot. You'll never get that right.
Oh, no?
Let me think of one more.
Congratulations, you played.
Oh, how many other distribution channels does Everest work with besides WFG?
Ooh, 0.
Who said 0? Very nice. It's kind of unfair.
Wait, doesn't Everest work with Everest works with like Google, right, and everybody like that, right?
Yes, but we don't sell through them.
Gotcha.
So Google, Facebook, Facebook, and Apple provides Everest as a benefits package to its employees. We don't sell it there, right? So if you ever wanted something in common with Mark Zuckerberg, you will get his IQ. You won't get his bank account, bro.
Damn it.
But you can get Everest. It's affordable. Very good. Before I go, you guys, real quickly. So we're sitting there at National Convention. It's my first convention, by the way.
Oh, fired up.
So before I went to this convention, I was asked to go to the WSB convention. So I went 2 conventions back to back, very similar in terms of value, very similar in terms of mission and purpose, a little different in terms of WSB. They look a little bit more like me, and they wear a lot of green jackets, right? outside of that. By the way, the rumor mill is such, do you guys know where National Convention is next year? The rumor has it. Rumor has it. Yeah, who said that? unfair. So yes, Atlanta Falcon football stadium next year.
The Superdome?
Got that from Nick.
No, well, the new one,
Yeah,
that's
the
not Superdome, right? There's a new
Oh.
stadium there now, right? And why are they doing this?
Because we don't have room.
That's right, why don't we have room though?
Growing?
WSB's coming back.
Oh, they are.
Swan's coming back. Yes, WSB's coming back. It's coming back there. So the rumor is that the family's coming back together again. I think it's gonna be amazing. I'm personally, I love it, because I work with both sides, you guys, and I love it. And so they're saying that that could happen at the next convention. I know this is being recorded, so if I'm wrong, it's gonna be horrible. But that is the last rumor kind of heard, and it makes sense to me. I hope that does happen. But so I'm sitting here at National Convention, and, you know, guys, and sometimes when we're out there, and even for myself, because I do work alone by myself quite often, you know, it gets a little lonely, and sometimes, you know, we forget that we're actually part of this larger purpose and larger mission-driven work that we do. And these conventions for me, the last WSB and the one recent this past week, really kind of hit home for me. And as a provider, this has happened to me. I can only imagine the experience that you guys came back with, especially for those where this was your very first one. And I was sitting here, I know today, Maddie showed me the book that you had, the Unauthorized book by Stephen Siegel, right?
Yep.
About WFG. Long time coming. And I was kind of breezing through that, and I found a quote in there really quickly that kind of, can I read this to you? It's a little excerpt from the book, and it kind of made me think about why I do for the company I work for, and I think, obviously this applies to you guys because you're here. By the way, another excerpt from the book I just quickly took a picture of is the average income for SMBs. Pretty incredible, guys. Pretty incredible, right? Do you know that 40% of full-timers here in WFG make over $100,000 a year? Think about that for a second. I've never been in a company where 40% of its full-timers at any company makes over $100,000 a year. That's WFG, by the way, okay? So let me just read this to you really quickly.
Yes, man.
WFG is neither a perfect company, we all know that, nor a perfect opportunity. Neither are any of the other companies for which I've worked. The difference is that WFG wants to be perfect, and its people want to be better. It's not just a slogan they slap on the wall. They want to be better. They want to be the best and help to do the same. They are earnest in their offer to help you become financially independent, and they sincerely want you to win. Sadly, I don't see that in traditional cold-hearted corporations. Most are more interested in pleasing stockholders and the people that make it possible. You guys are the ones that make it possible. I appreciate you for what you do. We saw it with you guys, so you know I appreciate what you guys do. I look forward to working with some of you that I haven't worked with you already, and I will see you all at the top, you guys. Thank you so much.